T.B.Photo X1.5 and welcome back to another video. Well, a bit overdue, I know, but there is the clear logical explanation for this one. For you guys that don't know, but I have addressed this in a couple of videos, my real daytime job is that I am a registered nurse and also a radiology nurse. So for the moment I'm working here in Uppsala at the academic hospital at the radiology department. So without further ado, I just have to acknowledge the elephant in the room, so to speak. So yeah, there we go. For the past weeks and so on, it has been a lot of work that has taken up my time for, as you can see, logical reasons. But I thought I would do a little bit of a video now about birding on a budget with this lens, the Tokina 400mm f5.6. The model designation for this model line is the ATX. And yeah, this is a 90s era lens with autofocus for Nikon cameras, which means it's a screwdriver one. Well, I'm gonna do a little bit, backwards and forwards here. Cell phone at the ready if I would have to be called and work an extra shift, which the probability is quite high actually, as it seems now. But anyway, that's beside the point. We've actually gotten a lot of help, or we're gonna get a lot of help from a not really the first organization you might suspect, but we would be extremely grateful if the news are correct, which I think they are. The commander of the Swedish Army, Navy, Air Force, the highest military ranked officer in Sweden, the commander general, has actually ordered the Swedish Army to set up a field hospital at the local Air Force base just outside Uppsala, if the news are correct, which I believe they are, and they are going to be specialized in helping with the situation at hand, which would be extremely, and as I've also been told and seen on the news and so on, a lot of hardware stores and so on, they have actually donated a lot of their safety equipment to local hospitals and so on, to combat the situation at hand, which is it's really just hat off to you and thank you so much. But anyway, I thought I would just do this a little bit, before this, a couple of weeks back, I was planning to do this episode, but because of, these factors, I haven't really gotten around to do it. But anyway, I thought we were going to do a little bit of a departure of our little series here of wide to mid-range zoom lenses. And yeah, this lens here, the Tokina ATX 400AF, is a prime lens for a Nikon F mount, and it is on my D7200. It has a DX equivalence, since it's a crop, it has a DX equivalent of 600mm. The angle of view on this lens is approximately 7 degrees angle of view. The minimum aperture is f22. It has an aperture system consisting of 8 aperture blades. The filter thread is 72mm. Yeah, 72. Also can check with the front lens cap. But anyway, as mentioned before, it's a screwdriver autofocus system, and let's see here. It consists of 10 lens elements in 8 groups, and the minimum focusing distance is 2.5 meters. So I actually went with on a little bit of a trip. Parents are huge fans of bird watching, and we have had not too far from Uppsala, there are some places where there have been a lot of sightings repeatedly of sea eagles. Yeah, eagles in general, and a lot of sea waterfowl as well. So we decided to take a little bit of a day trip out and see if we could find any birds of prey or other birds, and I was gonna try out this lens camera combo and see what we could get. Unfortunately, there weren't any opportunities to see any eagles. Unfortunately, we did see some, but that was from the car, so it wasn't really the best opportunity to take those images. But a little bit of waterfowl. I think we had I got some good images, or decent images, of some mallards in flight, Canada geese, and some other. For you guys who are out there who are better at bird names than I am, please put it in the comment sections below and tell me what's what here in the images. And I think we're gonna do a little bit of a B-roll as well, both from the little Panasonic action cam that I put on the camera, and also a little bit of a B-roll where we're looking at the images. And also, the town we went to is Öregrund, and the thing was, it felt very much deserted, but that's not, I repeat, not really because of the, it's more because it's very much a spring and summer town. It's one of those very touristy type towns, so there was very little people in movement out and about because it's not really in the season for that town. But all in all, it was a interesting day trip with a little bit of, I also managed, if you guys like that CBS, I think it is, series about Chernobyl, I managed to snag a picture of Forsmark here. This is actually the nuclear power plant that was the first to detect the radioactive fallout from Chernobyl. So a little bit of a social history there for you. Otherwise, we also went to a local cafe. I would really recommend this one. I think I have somewhere the business card for that cafe. Maybe put the link to it in the description as well. So if any of you out there in YouTube land are planning, which is fairly unlikely in today's situation, but if you would in the future visit Öregrund, I would really recommend it. It is a very idyllic Swedish town during the summer, spring, summer, because of the climate and so on. It's a boat paradise, and yeah, really interested with some really good restaurants, shops and so on. So really interesting indeed. Okay, keeping in mind then back a little bit to the lens, since this is a f5.6 prime lens and it is Tokina, and it is, these lenses I have seen go as low as about $80, $80 to $150 US about. They are budget-friendly lenses, and they're actually quite decent. The images you get are quite decent quality as well. Keep in mind there was a little bit of a mixed weather pattern when we were out. It was, it went from being overcast to fairly clear skies, and the sun was actually out during parts of this little trip. But all in all, it was a little bit of a mixed bag and so on. But as one review I read online about this lens stated, it is a good lens in certain conditions. When the conditions are right, it can actually produce fairly good, very good images. And with some post-processing in Lightroom, I would really say that it does create decent images. And on the D7200 with the cropping into a 600mm equivalent, it actually is a fairly decent, lightweight, versatile birding setup, in my opinion. But some of the caveats with it: it has a tripod collar like so. One bad thing about it is that the focusing ring here, when you have this in autofocus, the entire focusing ring will not, there is no clutch system or anything in this. This will move, so you have to be a little bit cautious on where you put your hands when you're autofocusing with this lens. Another positive with it, it has a built-in metal lens hood. It is very decent construction quality. My example here, good all the way through and so on. It has a little bit of a very narrow band. You know, when I started to look at the Lightroom images, the histogram both in camera and Lightroom showed that it was a very narrow patch of the histogram that was actually containing any information. But with the expansion functionalities in Lightroom and so on, it was actually fairly easy to get a decent image out of the raw data. So camera raw to the rescue once again. So this one, I believe it gives you TIFF files. So that's a little bit about it. Contrast fairly low and so on. But all of this can be rectified in Lightroom or any other editing software of your choosing. I haven't tested this with a film camera yet, but that might be a little bit of a test during the summer when the weather would permit. But all in all, I think that will be all for now. It's a decent lens. Would I recommend it? Well, if you are an aspiring beginner to intermediate bird watcher that wants a system that can be used to create decent birding images on a budget, I would really say that this is a contender. I would rather, if you want that extra little reach, the other example would be the Nikon 70-300. Positives with that, you get a zoom lens, so you have a more recent lens design, you have vibration reduction, and you can use manual autofocus a little bit more easily. But with this one, if you want to carry a prime lens and so on, all the good stuff, it is a good alternative in my opinion, and on a crop sensor body as well. But that's my opinion on it, and I know there are a lot of better quality glass out there, but this is a good budget alternative for all you beginners to intermediates out there who aren't afraid of doing some post-processing. But I think that's all for me for now, and as always, this is Tobias Bergström from T.B.Photo X1.5 to FX, and I'd like to see you guys in the next video. And as always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, so take care from now on. Bye.